today, at least I think it's today, I read the article today, the singer of Crazy Town died.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you think they're in Crazy Town now?
I mean, for everybody else, it's going to be last week or June 2024. If you're listening to this in the, I don't know, but yeah, the guy, the like rapper guy, because Crazy Town is kind of all over the place, and that's something I love about
Would you
them.
say that it's Crazy Town?
Okay, bitch, name one fucking song from them. You made the Crazy Town joke twice now. Put your money where your mouth is.
I know his name's Shifty Shell Shock.
Yes, it
But
is.
that's only because I Googled him.
You may recognize Crazy Town as the band that did the song Butterfly.
Can you sing it?
Come, my lady, come, my lady, you're my
yeah.
butterfly. Yeah, that was their most popular song. They also did Starry-Eyed Surprise. That's a pretty good song, too. I listened to a lot of their songs, and it's kind of sad, honestly.
You know, I also had a music update as our forward to the episode.
Well, that's good.
My music update is Dave Grohl calling out Taylor Swift and saying that she doesn't play music live.
Thank you. I actually forgot to put that down on my notes, but that was big that happened this week. No, so some context is needed here, because it's not that he just came out of the woodwork and he's just like, Taylor Swift bad. No, what happened is he and Taylor Swift kind of go back. He's played with her. He's a fan. They're buddy.
I don't know if he's a fan.
I guess in like, yeah, but I guess in like the last year, Dave Grohl's daughter came out and like tweeted out something about Taylor Swift's constant need to fly around on her private jet and how it's bad for the environment and stuff like that. And she got a lot of hate mail, a lot of doxes, a lot of people just saying, hey, you should get raped and die, that kind of thing, you know? Because
yeah, from the Swiftonites.
Yes. Swiftonites is good. I like that.
Thank you.
So it kind of leaves a bad taste in Dave Grohl's mouth. I think that he's not directly blaming Taylor Swift, but he's definitely like, well, you're not telling these people to not do this thing. It's kind of fucked up. But the thing he said about like how bands aren't playing music these days anymore on instruments is like it's a little tone deaf, because music is so broad, and I mean music can be played on a laptop if it's like electronic. And he's been saying this thing for years now, and I love Dave Grohl, but I do think that music is way more...
Music has evolved,
way more versatile than just...
Yeah, like it's not just me plucking at a guitar on stage. Not that I can do that.
Yeah, for better or for worse, anybody could get into music now. But, I mean... I feel like it's not so much Dave Grohl's attacking Taylor Swift as it is like a friendly jab with a little bit of passive aggressiveness due to his daughter getting bullied by Swifties.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually listen to it. I watched a video that had subtitles on it, and it seemed like just a Papa Bear in response to his kid getting fucking bullied by douchebags on the internet.
Which is completely understandable.
Yeah, I'd probably say some shit about somebody too if they didn't immediately come out and be like, hey, chill the fuck out.
Look, there is no hero in my life that I'm not prepared to abandon if they become a piece of shit. None. And
yeah,
I feel
especially celebrities. I don't fucking know you. If I find out you're terrible, I don't give a shit. You're off my list.
You gotta cut the parasocial down a little bit. Like, if you can't not scrutinize your heroes. You have to hold them to a critical light. You have to be able to go, well, they're doing X and that's not good. That's actually kind of bad. I still enjoy their art though. You can still enjoy something and not like the thing. Like, look at Harry Potter. I'm not bagging on the people that like Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter is dumb and the author is dumb.
Well, and look at the people that like Harry Potter, like a mass quantity of the demographic that enjoys Harry Potter fall into a camp of people that J.K. Rowling is not supportive of.
Yeah,
And those people still like Harry Potter, they just don't like J.K. Rowling. And
yeah,
with Taylor
which
Swift,
is
you can be
fine.
like, yeah, that bitch is killing the planet. I do still like her music though,
There are
and that's
some
fine.
people. There are some people that are tone deaf to what like J.K. Rowling said, though, and I mean, again, it's you have to. I like the art. I don't like the artist. Can you successfully separate the art from the artist? That remains to be seen. It's. I guess
I
you
think you
can.
should look. I think, in my humble, useless opinion, I think that you should look at the world with, as you said, a critical gaze, in the sense of you can look at a piece of work you really admire, you can look at the artist and have a critical gaze for the fact that they're a human being and
Yeah.
therefore are fallible, full of flaws. They could be a terrible person. Doesn't mean you can't necessarily enjoy the art. Do I believe that you should kind of put your money where your mouth is in some regards to the
Yes.
world? Yes, but I don't know. Life's also hard. If fucking listening to Taylor Swift on Spotify is what gets you through the day, I'm not judging your quarter of a penny that goes towards
Yeah.
her.
It's not like Taylor Swift is sending a bad message or anything. I mean, she is like the richest fucking woman in the world, and
Nah,
like
if
if
you
she
had the
wants to
ability
take
to
her,
hop on a private jet, you'd do it too. So don't fucking sit here and
yeah, of course I would. I mean, I definitely have some grace period where I'm like, oh no, I don't want to do that. But eventually, I'm gonna get a hankering for Texas barbecue, and it's gonna be like, God,
well, I'm not gonna drive there.
I mean, the plane is just sitting there. I'd be an asshole not to use it, right?
Helicopter me to the grocery store down the street. I can't walk. No, there's like, yeah, life has gray areas and shit, but yeah, look at your heroes with a critical lens. If somebody calls them out for constantly using a private plane and how much that murders the planet, maybe don't go attack that person. You could just be like, yeah, damn, you right.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be that passionate about it.
Speaking of gray areas, let's start the podcast.
Welcome to We Have That Podcast at Home. I'm on brand Rachel.
And I'm on brand Gamage, and this is our off brand podcast. The only podcast to answer life's burning questions like, am I being titty fucked by a ghost?
Should I stick SpaghettiOs in my ass?
The answer to both of those is yes. Look, if ghosts are real, that phantom pee-pee is everywhere.
If ghosts are real, they're probably the ones sticking SpaghettiOs in your ass.
Yeah. And think about it. If ghosts are real, those ghosts are doubling like every fucking year. There's so many.
All the time.
Ghost
We're
pee-pees
just.
everywhere.
Have you ever been swimming?
In ghosts?
Yeah, that's what you do every day, is where I was going with that. The water is ghosts.
Water isn't actually
All of
water.
life. Air is not actually oxygen and nitrogen. It is just ghosts.
It's ghost fart.
Floating around you, breathing in your mouth.
You see,
No.
we think trees absorb CO2 and expel oxygen. It's not. Trees are useless. It's actually ghosts that are breathing in CO2 and farting oxygen.
What if trees are the original Ghostbusters, and if you're a ghost and you get too close to a tree, it just goes
Yeah,
you're just gone.
all the deforestation that we're doing is making more ghosts
We're
happen.
creating a bigger ghost problem.
And also, I'm abandoning this. I'm over it.
More psychic mediums are born every year.
Each week we play Russian roulette with our success. It's been a wheel to find out the genre of next week's podcast.
This week we're attempting, I don't know why I do this voice sometimes, the fine art of, I don't actually remember, but I know we watched Godzilla.
It's pop culture. Yeah.
Pop culture. Well, sometimes it's wild card. That's why I said I don't remember.
I mean, if it's wild card, you could just say we're doing comedy because we got wild card and fuck it. It wasn't wild. It wasn't wild card. It was actually pop culture.
It was pop culture. Yeah, I just couldn't
edited the
remember if it
episode.
was.
Fact checkers spreading misinformation. Fucking little MAGA
God
cunt.
Damn it. Does she think Taylor Swift drives to get barbecue too? No, she helicopters there.
In
What
her
is she,
car.
poor?
That's unsafe, fact checker. Get your head out of your ass. Yeah. Where we're doing we talked a little bit about Godzilla last week, and honestly, we got a hankering, so we fucking put that in. Specifically, by the way, I was wrong. It's not Godzilla 2000. It came out around 2000. It's actually 1998. It's
Yeah, you were in the ballpark. What is time?
because there actually is a Godzilla 2000, which was
Okay, that's
supposedly
fair.
a decent movie, and it wasn't the movie we watched. We watched the fucking Matthew
The
Broderick
horrible
TriStar one.
1998 one.
Yeah. For the uninitiated, Godzilla is a Japanese kaiju featured in movies dating back to 1954 and is the antithesis to American superheroes, being that instead of nuclear powers creating a force of good that serves and defends the innocent, it creates monsters that devastates entire cities. Is this an allegory for nuclear weapons? I don't know.
You can decide that yourself.
I mean, I
All I
decided.
know, all I know is that when I got done watching this movie, I thought to myself, this quote, I feel like this took years off my life.
Yeah, I put on the movie and I wrote out 10 pages, and I was left going like, this took way longer than it should have.
There, my notes are so much looser.
So, yes, this 1998 masterpiece from TriStar reimagines Godzilla, but this is canonically not Godzilla.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I was like, this feels like not a Godzilla film.
It's actually accepted in the Godzilla fandom, but not as Godzilla. This creature is dubbed Zilla, just Zilla, because he's not a god of
It's
Zillas.
pronounced Zia. The L's are silent.
And it's different, and I'm told it's different.
And I'm told it's different.
This movie had a crazy successful marketing campaign. I mean, you were
really?
you were like a fucking glint in the milkman's eyes at this point.
I was 3. So I was a reflection in the milkman's eyes as he said, "That's not mine," and ran the other way.
Smart man. But I don't know if you remember,
God,
but like
yeah.
this movie had crazy marketing and promotion everywhere.
Yeah, 3-year-old me really remembers the rise of Godzilla's media marketing in 1998.
Well, it just meant like there were toys everywhere. There was
No, I don't fucking remember shit from when I was 3. I didn't think, oh, giant lizard, fantastic marketing campaign.
I had a Taco Bell cup holder, and it's kind of dope if you want to like Google that image really quickly. But
Cup holder?
a cup holder. But it was weird. It
fuck?
had like a lip on it, and I think that it was supposed to like fit into your window, which I think a cup holder that fits into your window is the dumbest idea ever.
Oh, I think I get what like the handle lip.
Yeah, what is that? If not to like fucking scoot
If
into
not
your
to
window.
roll up your window and watch it drop into your lap.
Exactly. I never trusted it. I don't even know how I
nor
got it.
should you. It doesn't fucking make any sense.
I remember cool campaigns like that though. Do you remember like the? Oh, I guess you were even younger.
You mean when McDonald's was cool?
All of them. McDonald's had like Batman collector glasses.
Fucking, I was just having this conversation with some people about the back of a cereal box. Like, you used to get toys in the cereal box. You used to get games on your cereal box. You used to be able to go to McDonald's and get a kid's meal and actually get, like, you could get a video game in your fucking kid's meal into the 2000s.
Dude, like, that Captain Crunch, like, there's 3 different Captain Crunch games were fucking incredible.
Yes, and they were genuinely good.
Yeah, care was put into them. More care was put into them than a lot of AAA games today have.
Yeah, our quality metric has dropped drastically.
Remember when Burger King had like the golden plate Pokemon plates? That shit was baller.
I think I still have 2 of those at my dad's house.
I had some and they went
cool
missing.
as shit.
I either had a Charizard or a Mewtwo. My brother had all of them, and he had all 151 of the Burger King Pokemon toys too. He was crazy.
Damn, that's fucking insane.
Yeah,
that's a lot of Burger King.
Yeah, that collection is worth about $12 now.
Someone out there wants it for that $12 though.
Sure. So let's get into this beautiful movie.
Yes, this stunning film that I will watch for years to come.
Yes. It's known as Godzilla TriStar, in parentheses, is what everybody remembers it as.
Why TriStar?
Because it's the company that made it, and they never made another Godzilla
Oh.
film again.
You know what's funny? My first note for this film, I have literally never heard of Centropolis Entertainment.
Yeah. This is one of Brittany's favorite movies, too.
Brittany, why?
I mean, I liked it when I was young, too, but I did feel like I didn't like it as much as everybody else did. Like, I was there, I was there for the ride, but
I think I would have been into it as a kid, and normally when we go into our shitty movies, I have really low expectations. And oftentimes the movies hit my low expectations or go lower, and I'm good with that, and it's entertaining. Something about this film, I just was like, oh God, this again? Oh God, this again? Oh God, this again? The whole film. I like couldn't get out of that mind space at all.
it doesn't help that you go in like going, all right, I'm going to watch this quote unquote bad movie. Let's see where we go. I think I
Well,
was
not
more interested in other things though. Like I had, like it was 1998. This is after 1997. Obviously, that's how numbers work. But 1997 was a killer year for video games, movies. It was all over the place. Like we got Fifth Element and Starship Troopers, Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
those are good ones.
Seven. Like, Godzilla came around, and I'm like, so it's
Like this is the follow-up?
it's not Power Rangers. I don't care.
If there were Power Rangers in it, would have loved it.
Actually, yeah.
I think a big part of this for me was what's his face being the main character.
Matthew Broderick.
Mathru, yeah, he just
Mathru.
he did not
He math through it.
Yeah.
Math through this performance.
Thank you. I couldn't stop laughing to say it. Yeah, just no part of his character felt like it fit ever. And I don't mean that and he's a bad actor. I just mean something about this character and what was happening just felt wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I did have this in my notes, but I think I'll bring it up now. Matthew Broderick in like 1987 fucking killed a woman and her mother in a car wreck in Ireland.
Oh, maybe that's how he ended up doing Godzilla.
This isn't
He was
allegedly.
disowned.
This did happen.
What the fuck?
He crossed into the other lane and just fucking hit him and woke up in the hospital and stated he had no recollection of doing so.
Yeah, of course. That's what they all say.
He faced...
Matthew Broderick, drunk driving.
No, he wasn't drunk. I think that he was just stupid and like... you drive on the other side in Ireland, right? Was he just an idiot? And he's like, oh, I forgot. And then you cost
Yeah,
two
you drive
people's
on the
lives.
opposite side of the road.
Yeah, but he faced 5 years in prison, but instead got off with €100 fine, which is like...
Oh, I wonder how that happened.
$200.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, people weren't happy about it. Apparently, he was driving with Jennifer Grey, who he had been dating since Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which I think is weird because she's supposed to be his older sister in that movie, but whatever. Anyway, opening credits.
No, holy crap. Sorry, I have to close the Broderick tab. I can't say his name. Matthew Broderick.
Well, don't worry. Like, once we get to the point with his name, we'll never have to call him that ever again.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
You could just call him Ferris. Most people just call him Ferris Bueller.
Oh, that's what I call him.
dude
As
from Ferris
the
Bueller.
first time, and then I dropped it because I know you hate when I call someone the wrong name for the entire fucking show.
but it's funny because Ferris Bueller on paper is a harder name to pronounce than Matthew Broderick.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't
know why my brain's I think I just can't talk today.
It's fine.
I was trying to make a menu that, you know, when it says like something like gluten free and there's an asterisk and it says like we cannot guarantee no cross contamination. In my head I wrote that sentence and all I could hear every time I read it was, "We can't guarantee no cross contamination." I was like, what words can I put in here to make this sound like a normal human sentence? I still don't think I found it. I think it still sounds like a
fucking white woman problems here.
Yeah.
So we get opening credits, and it shows a lot of deforestation and a bunch of different reptiles, including the marine iguana, which is what this Godzilla is supposed to be based off of.
Oh, I have lots of notes about this opening credits.
Yeah, is your notes reflecting that there's an atomic explosion and the various reptiles looking on in horror?
Yes, the Piatone footage.
What is this?
Nuclear hazard signs, beaches, swimming Komodo dragons. Then I put, do you think the Ninja Turtles are just Godzilla's cousins? Holy shit, this movie is 2 hours. Now some deforestation. Do you think Godzilla's really just against deforestation? Countdown in French. An iguana. Big boom. A shocked iguana, but close. Many shocked iguanas.
The swimming reptiles were marine iguanas, not Komodo dragons. There was a Komodo dragon
My bad,
in there.
they
though.
had... yeah, I think there was a Komodo dragon at the beginning, and then they switched to only iguanas. It's like they wanted one more shot of a lizard creature, and they were like, yeah, fuck it, just throw the Komodo in there.
There was also
the entire rest of it is iguanas.
yeah. They have like the land iguanas, the marine iguanas underwater. That's the only sequence of those. And then they had like, I don't know, skinks or some other lizard that isn't any of the other lizards. There's a billion. Fucking dealer's choice. Pick a lizard. That lizard was in this.
My favorite scene was when the bomb goes off and there's just a close-up of an iguana opening its mouth like, it was so good. After watching it, I put, we should irradiate more iguanas. I want to see more of that face.
You know that in fucking the 90s, Tim put this like sizzle reel together and everybody was fucking blown away. They're like, oh shit, this is so good.
How'd you get the iguana to act like that?
Yeah, by the way, all of the footage is like stock footage and the quality reflects that. But then like when it's that iguana like in like sand, that's somebody's
so crisp.
Pet. That's somebody's pet. That is home fucking footage.
It's so good.
So we are at our first real scene. It is a fishing boat in a storm. By the way, it's raining always. It's never not raining, period. There's
in this entire film.
It's always raining. Sometimes it rains less, but most of the time it rains more.
It's that old 90s movie Rain, too, where if you look at it too long, it's going every direction and way too much of it.
I have a theory that, I mean, the rain is atmospheric, sure, no pun intended, but I have a theory that the set was always rainy to make the CG, to like hide the bad CG better.
It didn't do a good enough job.
It didn't do good enough job, and we'll get there. But we're starting with this ship. It's a fishing boat. There's a big blip on an imaging scanner, some panic, and there's a Japanese chef who falls to the ground, and then a bunch of Japanese knives like fall and like stick to the ground around him like a fucking cartoon character.
Yeah, it was a very dramatic cartoon scene. There's a couple of those in this film.
Yeah, I don't know why that was here. Yes, fact checker made a point that it was good CG at the time, quote unquote, ahead of its time, which again is always the fucking case and is always fucking incorrect. The CG never looks good 2 days after the fact. Stop it.
2 days after the fact. Oh, like if you go back to the first Harry Potter, the CG looks terrible too.
Ugh. I mean, the movie was
terrible. My God. If you rewatch Shrek now,
I won't.
That also looks like it was made on the same platform as dinosaurs.
I mean, I see the memes all the time. It's never left the fucking zeitgeist. So there's a boat and it's like bobbing back and forth. A big claw tears through the ship and then a tail swipes up and the ship sinks is what I put down, but maybe it didn't. And
bum, bum, bum. And then we flash to fucking Ferris Bueller entering Chernobyl. Also in the rain to collect worms.
Singing in the rain as well.
Also, yes, he is singing in the rain.
Which is a this is like a callback to when he fucking hit that Irish family.
What the fuck? Oh. So he's talking about hitting an Irish family with his car when the government rolls up, as we do.
Well,
and tells him
he hooks a car battery up to some machinery.
Yeah, also this.
And electrifies worms out of the ground. Is that a thing?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, probably. Go get your car battery.
I don't know enough about like fish or bait gathering or even science to know, yeah, that's how you get a lot of worms quickly is by electrifying the dirt.
I don't know if they'd live. I assume it would work to some degree. I just don't know how amenable they would be to continuing
Yeah.
their life. Yeah, so he's electrocuting worms, and then the government shows up and they tell him he's not on this project anymore. You're on a new one. And when they come up to him, they say his full name, and his last name is ridiculous. It's like Dr. Nico Topanopoulos or some shit.
Tatopoulos is what it is.
Tatopoulos. And
Dr.
I
Nico
wrote,
Tatopoulos. He goes by Nick, though, to make it way easier.
yes. And I wrote, clearly his last name is going to be a joke for this entire movie. And I'm waiting for some epic scene where he pronounces his name correctly. That didn't happen, but they did indeed make several jokes of his last name.
Yeah, and then all the soldiers with the government come in and like just pile into his car and take everything out and confiscate it. And then we like zoom out to Papeete, Tahiti. Papeete, Tahiti.
Where a Frenchman who
Papeete,
did the
Tahiti.
countdown asks a man from the Japanese fishing boat that sank about what happened.
Played
And
by
he
Jean Reno,
says-
by the way. He fucking a phenomenal actor. One of my favorite.
The French guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his character was one of the only ones I liked in this film.
He's the guy that played Leon the Professional.
In fucking what?
Leon the Professional.
Leon the Professional in Leon the Professional. I have no fucking clue what you're talking about.
Oof. Okay, well, he was also the second protagonist of Onimusha 3, which is one of my favorite games.
Yeah,
Neither
I
here nor
definitely
there.
know exactly what that is.
He's a famous French actor. What the fuck do you want? So he's like trying to like talk to this Japanese survivor, and he like has a lighter up and he's like mesmerizing him with it. What was that?
I don't fucking know. Because I watched that scene and had so many questions.
As you would.
Because, like, what hypnosis is he using to make this man talk about the giant lizard creature? And then for some reason showing him fire prompts him to just say one word over and over again.
Being big booty bitches.
Yes,
Big booty
it's
bitches.
it's hyphenated. So
Big
it's just
booty
one
bitches.
word. Yeah. He traumatized says big booty bitches. Big booty bitches. Big booty,
Big booty bitches everywhere. Everywhere was also hyphenated.
Yes.
No, he's repeating Gojira, which is like the classic name of Godzilla.
Yes.
Oh, here, thank you, fact checker. Fire can lead to trance-like relaxation effects. These effects have been backed by I don't care.
What was the doctor just hold on.
Why are you
If
justifying
I show him
this?
fire, he'll start talking about it. You couldn't look up the car battery, but this is what you chose. I like that this is what you chose. I can appreciate this.
Like, we don't care about this. The worm is like there's some
The
substantial
worms I had
there's some
questions
substantial
about.
inquiries
There's
there.
science there. This is hoopla. I know that when I sit around a campfire that I like to tell
I
secrets.
did
It's
look
fine.
up the electric worm thing too. They say it's a real thing. I mean, I could only believe you.
Yeah, it seemed legit. I was like, I don't really see why this wouldn't work, but
If you
I
electrify
don't know.
the ground, I don't know if you'd actually
Oh.
get worms.
A lot of YouTube, a car battery, jumper cables, and some poles. Done.
Fuck the early bird. I got this shit.
And in true awful movie fashion, we then flash to the next scene, which is Nick arriving at, and I had a blank for a while because it took me a long time to figure out it was Panama because I wasn't paying attention.
You
And
know
they-
what? I wrote down San Miguel, Panama, but like I didn't read it. Brittany just kept saying it, and I'm like, I'll take your word for it. I'm not rewinding this.
Well, she's not wrong, so
Not wrong either.
not wrong. And then they tell him to study a new creature, and he keeps asking what creature, and they tell him he's in it, and then he realizes he's in a giant ass footprint.
Yes. Not an ass footprint. It is a giant ass footprint.
I don't know if pronouncing it that way made it sound better or weirder.
It's emphasis on the
I think it
giant.
made it more confusing.
I don't
It
think
sounded
so.
like emphasis on the ass. It sounded
Well,
like you said
when
giant
you said
ass
when you
footprint.
said it, if I didn't know the context, I would assume it was an ass foot, and I don't know what an ass foot is. I
No, it's
don't
an
want
ass
to know
foot.
what an ass foot is.
It's an ass foot. It's a foot with a butthole. Don't be scared of it.
I mean,
Uh,
as you're saying this, I'm thinking of Andalites from Animorphs, which is,
love
Andalites are
every
like the
time you
blue
bring up
centaur.
Animorphs.
The Andalites are the blue centaur alien creatures that can like morph and stuff, but they don't have mouths. They eat grass through their hooves by like stepping on the grass.
That's
So,
fucking weird.
I mean, they're aliens. What the fuck do you want?
Do they pee out of their fingertips like the ones from Scary Movie?
I mean, that you brought up the butt foot, and now I'm like questioning a lot of other things going on at these fuckers. They have 7 fingers on each hand.
And so they pee out of all of them.
Look up an Andalite. We haven't talked about this weird shit with Animorphs.
Thank you, fact checker. We've already talked about all the weird shit with Animorphs. This one definitely has never come up.
There's a lot.
We just have talked about a lot of Animorphs.
There's a lot more with Animorphs.
And Gammas just happens to know it all.
I don't. I know
a
fucking. I know a toe in a puddle's worth of Animorphs.
And it's still an ocean's worth more than I know. So Nick is told to study a big ass fucking footprint. He then gets introduced to a lady scientist who immediately flirts with him. Goodness gracious, a possible challenge to the love of his life, who's the pictured blonde lady in his backpack.
Yeah.
I think this is where I caught the most beef that I had with this film, as I realized they were trying exceptionally hard to be Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Yes.
And failing.
Yes. I have multiple sequences where I'm like, okay, so we're trying Jurassic Park here, and this is why we failed. And yes, she's a paleontologist, Dr. Elsie Chapman or Elise Chapman? Elsie Chapman. She's kind of not an important character at all. Like, she's introduced here, and she says like 2 things, and that's it.
She flirts with him twice, and then says one weird line towards the end of the film that has, when a scene adds weight to itself without actually either of the characters holding that weight, so it just feels wrong and awkward.
Yeah, it's like exposition, but not entirely exposition, but it feels like it. Yes.
Yeah, you're trying to force us to feel this thing, but you didn't have any of the setup for it.
Heavy-handed, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Heavy-handed is a good word for it. That's her final. She flirts with him twice, and then at the end, there's a weird scene that's heavy-handed exposition.
Yeah, she flirts with him. By the way, this movie, I feel like, is a secret campaign to convince everybody that Matthew Broderick is a cutie patootie.
Didn't kill a woman.
Yeah, that too. But no, like every inch of this movie is like, oh, look at how hot Dr. Nick is. Ooh, oh, he's so cute. Like, Matthew Broderick's the most fucking generic looking white
vanilla-ass
dude.
bitch. Yeah. No, I think you're totally right. This movie was designed to blow smoke up of Matthew Broderick's ass. Post my Jurassic Park thought, they do this flyover scene where they show a bunch of footprints that they're gonna follow to where Godzilla went, and every single footprint that this creature makes is so perfectly outlined. It's like if you press your hand into moon sand and then very daintily pull it out. There's no motion to it. There's no actual substance.
What's crazy is you can do this right now if you like go to Google image searches and look up the Godzilla footprint. If you zoom in, you could actually see the word Mattel because they actually used a Godzilla toy footprint for it.
Yup, Zilla just a dainty bitch. Stole that one from Fact Checker. Yeah, I can't. There's so many scenes where the evidence of Godzilla existing is so perfectly cut out, it's painful.
Well, like, the timing of this movie is very, very clearly Jurassic Park came out and was a fucking box office hit, and then these people went, oh shit, get out your fucking dino pads. We gotta make this movie now.
They said, "Go, go, go, Godzilla." And thank you for your pity laugh.
So we see an establishing shot of New York, and it's raining. It's always
Again.
raining. We meet this little timid, well, I don't know if timid is the right word. It's a blonde woman who's kind of sucks. Her name is Audrey Timmons.
Dude, she sucks the whole time.
She sucks.
But we learned Dr. Metalocalypse is not dating the blonde lady because she talks about being single.
Yeah, she's in the news business and she's trying to get ahead, which is a plot point, but like not a good one, not an important one.
No, it's a terrible one that they spend way too much time on.
She experiences the sexism because she's a woman in an industry dominated by awful men.
Experiences a sexism.
I don't know if I stopped on this, but like in the scene where he's like going into the newsroom and like sits next to his co-star, she is fucking horrendous to look at.
I'm laughing because I felt bad because I thought a similar thing. I was like, oh, I'm a bad person.
No, she's like a square person. I don't know how to describe it.
It's because shoulder pads were still acceptable, and that's definitely what she's wearing. And then they poofed out her hair so that it makes a square shape also, so she just looks like
but she also has like
fucking
strong
Roblox creature.
Yeah, she also has like strong jaw features and like
which doesn't
and
fit
cheekbones
the square hair and the square shoulders. It just looks awkward.
I mean, this is in the era of being hip to be square, so good for you, I guess.
Aha. You pity laughed mine, so I got to do the same favor.
It's good. It's funnier. So we go back to the people. Dr. Chapman is trying to play coy about learning that Nick is single. Like, oh, I bet your girlfriend blah 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 blah. It's like a sneaky way of exposition, but
yes, it's establishing that neither of them are in a relationship because they did the same very obvious exposition with the blonde lady.
Her face is very saggy. But I like it because this scene mirrors the last scene, and it's like reverse sexism because she sees him as a sexual object only.
Oh, she's trying to harass him. She literally says, I don't think you're right for this job, but I think you're hot, so it's fine.
He has HR on fucking speed dial. He hasn't dialed it yet.
She said the only reason you still have a job is because I want to fuck. That's it. So yeah, then we see more pristine marks of Godzilla taking very perfect little dainty swipes out of a ship. And we find out Godzilla's a fan of tuna.
Yeah, I want to know how this boat got here.
Okay, there are so many scenes where I ask myself that. There's one scene where it makes sense.
Yeah.
In this scene, how'd this boat get here?
Yeah.
Later I'll tell you where I note the boats. They use boats as a marker of like that he's tall.
I don't know, man.
So he likes tuna. And then we're at some more boats in some more ocean.
Philippe is also here, by the way. Apparently, he at this point he says he's in insurance, not doctoring, as we thought he was a doctor before, because he was doing fire, mind magic, psychic stuff with the Gojira guy. But now he's
this dude's just an exceptional con man.
Nick finds some gross shit on a scratch.
Yeah,
that's just a
goop.
detail. And yeah, back to the ocean. There's some fishermen, and they're being fishermen, doing fisherman stuff. When all of a sudden there's a noise and the boat stopped boating. Then they try to boat more, but it's just not boating.
And then it starts boating in reverse, which is when the back of your boat starts propelling itself into the ocean.
Yes. It turns out the nets are caught on something. There's a fisherman in here, by the way, with a soul patch, and I want to call him out. What the fuck's your problem?
Look, some people change life paths too quickly to grow a beard, all right?
Okay, because I'm like, he did this before going out to the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you chose this. Or you're continuing to choose this while on the ocean, which is even worse. I have a question for you that I thought to myself here.
Yeah.
So, the boats are sinking, and I thought, why now, Godzilla? Was it your 18th birthday? Is this your like coming of age party? What is this?
Quinceanera.
Yeah, which I they later explain why, but just like how have you never bothered anybody before this moment?
So whatever is caught on the net is pulling the boats down. Then they're gone. The ocean
Yeah, the
sucks. I don't know what to
mystery
tell
of
you.
what's caught on the net.
Then the boat is thrown back up to the surface. Oh, and now we're on a
Oh
plane.
God. Yes.
By the way, this fucking scene, Brittany pointed it out. But so they're on a plane.
I'm excited.
Because you have the same thought.
No, I'm just really curious what yours is. I have a different thought that has to do with what Nick says.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're on a plane. Nick is doing his science on this plane. It shows the outside shot of the plane, and it's like flying through storm and rain because it's always raining and storming. But then on the inside of the plane, there's like sunlight clearly coming through the windows.
Oh, I
and
did
then
not notice that.
occasionally lightning like clashes and it does like the flash. But sunlight is clearly just beaming through that fucker.
Yeah, when you said it was a cloudy, stormy scene, I had no recollection of that, and that would probably be why.
Yeah. Yeah, but on the inside of the plane, like it looks like that's natural sunlight you got there, bitch.
That is well lit.
Yeah, so they're like sitting around, and Dr. Chapman says Allosaurus, which is fucking bullshit. We just talked about Allosaurus. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, I had to go look at our dinosaur notes and be like, yeah, that's not quite right, but good try. Just trying to pick out any dinosaur and be like, that's it, that's the one.
Well, she's a paleontologist. She's like, it's a dinosaur. I'm still relevant. Please continue to pay me.
I'm the right person for this job. Nods aggressively.
Everybody wants a government job.
Nick starts sciencing, and I thought this scene was really funny because it feels like they do less sciencing and more just having him say a couple big words in a row to try to make it seem like he's sciencing.
Yeah,
so
he
they
occasionally
talk about,
like shakes a beaker. Like that's
yeah,
science.
literally at one point that is what happens while he's doing fuck, we'll get there.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil it. It's good. Yeah, they talk about radiation incipiating a creature into a fresh being, which just means making a creature for the first time. It's the first of its kind. Could have just said that, but we had to say incipiating to alienate anybody that didn't know what that word meant.
Because he went to college and learned that word. Like, when
yeah,
you learn a word,
you gotta
have
use
to fucking
it.
use it.
You use it or you lose it.
Yeah, I've lost a lot of words. I don't remember half the words anymore because I say more dumb shit than I do smart shit, and now the dumb shit is taken over.
Sorry, it's gonna be a sec. Somebody's crossing the bridge. Wait, hey, ma'am, come here. No, come here. I can see you. Ma'am. Hey, stop it. Come here. Lay down. Ma'am. Hold on, she's not done. Miss? Does that work better? Burrito!
Genevieve!
Genevieve! Guinevere! Guinevere! You see her wagging her tail every time I say it?
That's because you hit her true name.
It's her name in the ancient language is Guinevere. Come here. Hey, no, come here. Hey.
Oh man, I need to clean my computer.
Yeah, you gross, vile being.
It's like all dusty, but like it's Humboldt dust, so like it's like immediately like wet. Like it's if you don't like keep up on it, you end up having to like take it apart and scrubbing it. Ugh.
At least it's not weed dust, which by the way, for anybody listening, if you smoke marijuanas and you have a computer in your house, go blow the fucking fan out. And by blow the fan out, I mean remove the screen because you're going to have to nitpick that shit with a toothpick and a Q-tip.
Don't do it in socks. You'll break everything.
What the fuck?
Yeah, static electricity.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant like you would slip and fall into the computer. Was
I mean,
my
you
first
might do
thought.
that too.
Fair enough. Yeah, don't do it in socks.
Yeah, so
They talk about incipiating.
Yeah, it's a great crossword
Great.
word
Yeah.
letter thing. I don't know. They mentioned nuclear testing on some islands nearby.
Yeah, they say that this area of water has been used for repeated nuclear testing by multiple countries, so it's just the fucking no man's land for
I'd like
iguana populations.
I'd like to put a pin in that
Okay.
for later. Yes, these islands, Panama, there's some nuclear testing done here. Moving on. So
Okay.
we go to New York, and we are now at the city that never sleeps, is what's quoted here.
Is it raining?
Yeah, it is actually.
Oh, Jesus.
Audrey's in a diner complaining about misogyny, and then sits next to who's that? It's Hank Azaria,
Yeah,
uh,
what?
playing Victor Animal Pilati. By the way, he was the Blue Raja in Mystery Men. If you didn't put
Yes,
that
he
together,
is.
great actor.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. And it's a beautiful scene where Audrey's BFF from work tells her that she's too nice and she's never gonna go anywhere. And that's it. That's the scene. She's like, "No, I'm not too nice. I can get places." And
Yes,
they just both tell her, "No."
they're calling her a weak little bitch, and that's why she's not successful. All of a sudden, Audrey sees a blurry figure on a diner fucking TV and demands everyone shut up so that she can announce that this was her college sweetheart.
And he's on TV doing Godzilla stuff.
It's fucking Bigfoot footage, and she's like, wait a minute! I know this silhouette!
That's my silhouette. That's my lifelong lover.
And now this was like one of the first trailer like promotional teasers of the movie was
That's
this
fair.
scene, which is
This is one of my favorite scenes.
it's good, and this got a lot of people hyped in movie theaters. Back then, by the way, people would go see movies specifically because they had key teasers and movie trailers for other movies. Like you'd be like, "Oh, go see this movie because it's got the next Captain America trailer in it." You know,
Yeah,
whatever. It was a
because you
big
wouldn't
deal.
see it on TV.
Now there's YouTube. Like an hour after it's released that it's up, and you could just watch it whenever you want.
They start filming it, and you can watch somebody live stream them filming it for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Pretty
If
much.
you're there quick enough, you could even like see the props guy get fed up and like behead himself.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
So yes, this scene is an old man, fisherman, guy man, is fishing in the rain.
I'm sorry, what is he doing?
He's fishing man, guy
And is
fishing.
he a man or a woman?
I wrote down here man, but I actually didn't check.
And would you say this maybe man is a youth?
No, he's actually old. He's got like wrinkles.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. So he's fishing right now in the rain, and he's
Yes.
being heckled by hobos with
Yeah, while
like
he's fishing in the rain.
classic "I'm walking here" accents.
That's one of my favorite parts about this entire film is every person that is supposed to be a native New
It's a
Yorker
fucking
has the I'm
caricature.
walking here. Yeah, I'm just a cartoon. That was
Hey,
a terrible
yo,
New Yorker,
hey.
but I'm the Fonz. Let me go hit a record player a little too hard so it works again. Hey.
So he's excited that he caught something. Nice guys finished last is what
Nice guys finish last.
fact checker
I don't
just
know
said.
how the Fonz says
Is that like a
if
New
that's
York
what
thing?
you're referencing.
I don't know. But fisherman, guy man, old man, catches something. His fishing line is being pulled, and he's excited. But then like the fishing pole is pulled, and then all of a sudden like water starts to rise, and then it like starts to hit the dock, and he turns and runs away, and it's really bad CG of him running away.
So bad. It's like this. Picture a little old man running in that sort of waddly little old man way. And you can see this like fake dock folding up behind him.
Yeah.
And at one point, I swear to God, they repeat the same segment of him running.
Yeah.
Just for a second. But it definitely is like he goes back in space and then forward again.
I mean, they were only able to get like 3 seconds of this old man running
And somehow they
before
still
his
repeated one of those
heart.
seconds.
Well, because his heart would just give out, so they just repeated it and then like reversed it a little bit to make it look like it's like inconsistent. But it's very clearly you could see the director on a green screen, just like, okay, now look like you're running and the ground's like crumbling beneath you. Just kind of shuffle your feet a little bit. Yeah, that's great.
Perfect.
All right, that's a
Nailed
wrap.
it. Quick, now put a lizard behind him and he's good. Yeah, I want that old guy, but just with like a green screen behind him so that other people can animate stuff for him to run away from. That'd be great.
So we now see not Godzilla, Zilla. This is Zilla. We see Zilla tooling through the city. Just
making
here
football
she is
in New
now.
York.
She picks up a truck full of he. They refer to Zilla as he at this point.
They refer to as I have a lot to say about that. We'll get there. Also, this is the point where I noted there's boats. So when Zilla initially wait, hold on, let me explain.
Yeah.
Because Zilla just came out of water by a dock. So the first boat being dropped makes sense. And then like a minute or two later, they drop another boat like way further into the city, and it makes it seem like they're just throwing boats around New York to show that Zilla's tall.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple scenes where they just drop a boat out of nowhere just to watch it break.
Zilla's size is inconsistent. It goes up and down constantly. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, when you start your day, you're one height, and when the weight of the world has pressed on you for 8 hours, you're a different height at the end.
Yeah. Zilla looks awful in this. Like, you see full CG, and it's
bad.
like just not good.
Just awful.
Zilla picks up a truck full of fish and shakes it around. He looks awful. We shoot to some campaign happening for mayor. I mean, he is mayor.
Somebody running for mayor in any movie that involves New York?
Because New York has no fucking control over itself.
How often do people actually run for mayor in New York is my question.
I mean, I think you're never not running for mayor. Everybody's running for mayor.
Everybody's constantly always. You right now listening to this podcast are running for mayor, and let me tell you, you're losing. But worse, you could be winning, and that's even more terrifying because that means somebody's just gonna come to your house and announce that you have to do shit now.
Like, have you checked the polls? What's your numbers? What's your percentages?
Yeah, what if you're
you don't even know, do you?
51%? You got to throw that game.
You're part of the problem. Anyway.
Go marry a raccoon. Maybe people will vote for you less, but they could vote for you more. You never fucking know.
Thanks, fact checker. New Yorkers, or the mayor of New York City is elected in early November every 4 years. We know how elections work.
I actually didn't know how often mayors were voted in, though, so I did not know that they were on the same cycle
every
as
4
a
years, but
election.
it's not the same year as presidents, but like the following year. Fact checker is
you just
also...
read that from fact checker. Fuck you.
Well, no, I mean, like, I know, like, the primaries.
A fact checker.
Local elections are important. Fact checker has also said jackass. I guess she's calling Rachel a jackass.
Yeah, I've been really rude this entire episode. So we're in New Jersey now.
First of all, dozens of people are crushed under the bad CG. Now I'm done.
So we're in New Jersey and we're back with Nick and the U.S. military. They're talking about the big lizard creature, and Nick says, "This is one of my favorite lines in this entire film." He says something like, "It's perfect, quote, an island, water on all sides." And then proceeds to talk about how that's a unique feature. Yes, no other island is like this. He's talking about the fact that like Manhattan's so big and has so much like places, like there's so much going on on the island. But the way that it's worded makes it sound like, an island, water on all sides. How uncommon. There's nothing else like it.
Yeah. There's a little bit before this, but Audrey is still with her friends and reveals that Nick asked her to marry him, And I'm guessing they say no, but they don't say it here. And then Audrey's friend calls Animal a retard. I wanted to point that out.
Literally
Because,
did not watch that scene.
yeah, but Animal is a cameraman, so he like runs out to get his shot of Godzilla. And it looks like he's crushed by the foot, but it's actually not. It's stupid. But yeah, military saw Godzilla pop up and then disappeared, and then and then
It's missing.
Nick's literally like, "What the fuck are you talking? It's fucking somewhere. It's like a giant dinosaur. Like,
Yeah, it's not just gone.
like New York's big, but like if a dinosaur is like rampaging through one corner, you know the other corner knows about it.
If a dinosaur the size of a skyscraper is walking around, it's not like it doesn't just go away.
Yeah.
Zilla is not an illusionary magician.
Not yet, at least. We're not at that scene.
Or maybe she is.
So the news is now showing Animal's footage of said dinosaur. And again, they keep showing blurry fucking Bigfoot shots of Nick. And Audrey's just like glued to the fucking screen. Can't get enough of him. That's important. She's like really obsessed with this man and right here.
And it comes up more later too. It's kind of weird.
And then
it's not healthy.
So she ends up stealing a press pass from her like boss, who's a sexist piece of shit, and then
he's also famous, but I don't
city.
remember his name.
I have no clue who he is. I recognize so many people from this movie, but I look at him and I get nothing.
I don't recognize his face. I recognized his voice.
I recognize his voice too.
He's done a shit ton of The Simpsons.
Okay, is he the voice? Because I kept thinking like, why does this guy sound like fucking the newscast guy from Simpsons? Is that him?
Yes.
That
he does.
Okay.
Let me look up his name because he's played like a good amount of Simpsons characters.
I thought he was genuinely a caricature of him.
No, like he's trying guy.
To fact checker beat you, Michael Lerner.
No, different guy.
Yeah, fact checker doesn't
Not
know
that
shit.
Guy. different guy. Give me a sec. I'm gonna look him up. I think it's Harry Shearer. Is that who it is?
Oh,
it's Harry Shearer.
Which is funny because you use
Ned
Shearer
Flanders,
on Harry.
Principal Skinner, and a couple other people in The Simpsons.
He's a misogynist here. So, Newsman says that they haven't seen.
Here. I'm sorry, I just realized what you said. Oh, he also plays Kent Brockman, the news guy, Lenny, Mr. Burns, Waylon Smithers, Otto, the bus driver, because this is how voice acting works, is you play fucking
we'll be here
in
all
episode.
Day if you're naming all of the characters one voice actor does in The Simpsons. It is
Kent Brockmeyer, which I think is a misspelling. No, continuing on.
Newsman is doing a news report, and he says that they haven't seen destruction like this since the Trade Center bombings. Well, buckle the fuck up, New York. You're going to have a bad couple of years here.
You're about to experience a whole lot of shit. I actually noted right after she steals his press badge, scenic shot of the Twin Towers, establishing shot in time.
Yeah. And then we see the mayor. He's doing some stuff. This guy, the mayor, is the fat guy from Jurassic Park.
Yes, he is. He was really trying to ride the Jurassic Park high.
Yes, like how can we get this guy to look and sound exactly like him? Are they related? Don't answer that. I don't care. But we now go to Philippe, who is played by Jean Reno, walks up to the mayor and like announces, "Oh yes, I'm with the insurance." And then like you see him like put his hand on his shoulder, and you can see that he's bugging him. He's putting some type of surveillance equipment on him. Ooh, what's this about? I thought he was a doctor, but then I thought he was an insurance salesman. What's going on here?
Now he's bugging a mayor.
And then they quickly show, just to provide context, that Newsman arrives without press pass, so he's not allowed to news. And then Audrey is on a subway. There's a tank with a goldfish like 2 inches away from her face, just threatening to tumble onto her. You don't remember
What?
that? She's like talking with Lucy on the subway, and there's like a fish tank. Like somebody has their fish tank with a fish,
Oh,
fucking
no,
just
okay.
in her
Yeah, no, I
face.
do remember what you're talking about. They were like, New York's weird. Let's put a goldfish next to her face.
I think it was less a commentary on Subway and more like everybody's packing their shit right now
Yeah, probably.
because there's a lot of people trying to flee.
Yeah, I suppose they're all evacuating, so this guy was just like my goldfish. I barely the last like 3 scenes you've described, I'm like those could have happened. I don't remember. I didn't even note them.
He
This
probably
is the
just
movie I
spaced
have
off and like,
taken the least notes on in my entire life because there were multiple times that I had to like force myself to check back in.
I had to pause a couple times and be like, all right, I got to catch up because I can't.
Yeah,
God, I
like
can't.
I just need to mentally re-arrive.
I love this next scene though, because it's a joke that's constantly brought up a lot. So there's a UPS guy and he's being sketchy, and then he like enters his van to seek to show that it's actually Philippe's secret spy van for the
Bum bum bum.
French spies. And they immediately make jokes about lack of croissants and how bad coffee in America is.
Yes, it's
Ha
so
ha
good.
ha.
Somewhere before, maybe after. I'm trying to figure out where I am in relation to you during this movie. Because I have, where you have all of this information, I have scenic shot of Twin Towers. Douche twat does news. There's a hole in the middle of an entire building. Wouldn't that have just
Yeah.
collapsed?
Yeah. That happens a couple times and I don't fucking
Yes,
know, okay?
it's so dumb. They do it more than once. And then I put we go back to Nick. They've discovered this massive bitch, Zilla, is visiting his cousins in the sewer. And then I have this guy's such a nerd. Quote, when I hunted earthworms, I had to draw them out. All we
Yeah.
have to do is find what he needs and he'll come to you. Bitch, earthworms need to be electrocuted?
It's worth noting that they also oh yeah, right here the mayor is talking about how he doesn't want to evacuate the city because politics, and
Oh, yeah, he was like, we didn't have to evacuate the city? And it's like, sir, what?
but like right off of like center is Sergeant O'Neill just out of focus saluting the entire time as the mayor bickers, and then passive aggressively steps forward and salutes harder so that he's noticed.
Oh, magical.
And yeah, Nick and
O'Neill's
scientists.
plot line is rough.
Yeah, it's you got to feel for this guy. But yeah, Nick and scientist friends are brought to the subway, and you could see a Pepsi sign, product placement. Thought he could get past me.
Why is Pepsi in all the shittiest movies? Because they were in Madam Web too.
I don't know. It sucks because like if it came down to Pepsi and Coke, I picked Pepsi, but
Yup. But apparently the world doesn't. We're the minority on that one.
Coke is immensely more popular than Pepsi.
Have I ever told you about the time that I was at an event with Coca-Cola because they are like we're contracted with them at work, so they took us to some sporting event, and my old boss at the time decided to talk about what skinning a polar bear might be like. Which would be weird straight out of the gate, and then you add in that's like the mascot of Coca-Cola, and it just
I
like,
bet it'd be real hard.
the amount of awkward that silence was. Well, no, it wasn't even like I bet it would be real hard. It was like, why don't we do this more? Why don't we skin more polar bears? There's enough of them.
I guess.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
So in the next scene, which is an establishing shot, they show like 1 billion helicopters, and they do this a lot. I think this is to show, all of the king's horses and all the king's men. Look at how much military there is, and it's not enough.
Every helicopter we owned on the East Coast is here, and maybe even 1 or 2 from the West Coast. The rest are coming tomorrow.
So the French are spying on the U.S. military, and they're making more jokes
and complaining about coffee.
This is not French roast. Ha 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 ha. Nick buys a Polaroid at a vending machine because that used to be a thing, and that blew my mind. Remember that? I guess you wouldn't.
No.
So
I was 3.
When you were 3, did you ever buy a Polaroid from a vending
Remember
machine?
a disposable camera, but no, not a Polaroid out of a vending machine. Now, if I bought a Polaroid from a vending machine, it wouldn't be the camera. It would be like a Polaroid of the vending machine guy's ass that he tucked behind my Snickers bar.
So like I was working at a drugstore that had like printed fucking 1-hour photos, and people bring disposable cameras in. That shit gets sent out, and it's like 6 weeks. It's not like, oh yeah, we get this fucking printed immediately
Yeah,
for you.
they don't do fucking anything at the store.
That
You're
is
just a middleman.
that is a dinosaur. Leave it behind. It's over. So the mayor's still upsetty spaghetti about the state of the city, specifically about how all the dump trucks were confiscated to dump giant piles of fish into the street.
Yep.
Nick's like, oh, that's a lot of fish, and yeah,
Well, that's a big
the
Godzilla.
French don't know what's going on.
When do they ever? That's not true. They're like the saviors of this entire film.
Nick sees some steam coming out of manholes because that's what happens in New York. Why manholes are always
Manholes
steamy?
so steamy. Yeah, what is this? I
Hot
have only
poo. Fact checker said hot poo. So Nick tells everybody to open them up so that Zilla could smell the fish. And then he opens one up and hears growling. And then we get a dolly zoom shot on him, which is one of my favorite kinds of zooms, which is like where they're like zooming in on a face while focusing out. So like the background kind of like moves fast. It's famous from Jaws.
around the same time Godzilla promptly like vomits boat pieces out of the manhole
Yes.
and into Nick's face.
Yeah, it throws up some blood snot, meat shit. I don't know. Out.
Well, some of
there's
it
some
clanged,
boat stuff too.
so
yeah.
there's metal pieces in there.
And
There's
then
something.
pops out of the ground like a fucking whack-a-mole. We get the like a full size.
Yeah, it's our first
Zilla.
good look at the world's shittiest CGI since the movie Dinosaurs.
Yeah. Well, this is before dinosaurs, so like.
Well, they clearly we didn't evolve.
Yeah, not a lot. Nick takes a photo and Zilla gets super close, and this is like a touching scene where like it even trills and there's like touching music that's like kind of.
There's this beautiful
It's a
relationship
tender moment.
forming.
It feels like he's gonna
because
befriend it, but that's not.
Scientists and giant beasts that would normally just eat you
Yes.
have just a really passionate bond.
And this is a weird like again they're shooting for Jurassic Park here, but then they're like,
Yes.
oh wait, that's not what this movie is. We got to go back to this being Godzilla.
Just kidding, shoot it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so
I wrote Manhattan is just a Godzilla zoo now.
yeah.
Because it's just roaming around.
So Zilla is walking towards the pile of fish. We see the radar screen that the military have, and it's like we see the target going, and it's the pile of fish is depicted by a big fish icon. Someone programmed that in. That's not just in the movie. Someone in the military was told to make a big fish icon for this special op, and that blows me away.
What would you do if you were in the military and you were about to feed fucking Godzilla? I'd
I,
probably put a fish icon down too.
I'd put like a green triangle. I don't fucking know. Like you
Why
have
do
like
that when you could have a fish icon?
again, the music here is very out of place. They're shooting for Jurassic Park. They're fucking really trying hard.
And then, literally, speaking of shooting, the military decides to shoot Zilla while he's just chilling and eating fish. Rude as fuck.
Yeah, he's going buck wild on that fish pile. But Sergeant O'Neill does a "we're gonna need bigger guns" joke because get it like
Yes.
Jaws.
Ha 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 ha. And now Zilla's rampaging.
Yeah, they're ordered to fire, but they like nobody in this movie. Nobody
Thought ahead.
can fucking hit this lizard. They are incapable. Like there's guns and a big target, and they're hitting everything behind him.
Well, also, like, you just have these little guns against this creature that's the size of the fucking Empire State Building. So, like, and to some degree, what the fuck did you expect? Because the next scene is literally fucking O'Neill's boss being like, I thought you had it. And he's like, I'm sorry, sir. He's gone, sir. Like, what the fuck did you think his tiny gun was going to do against the oversized radioactive dinosaur? Toss a net? Like,
That's another
I got
thing
it.
is I'm glad you brought up radioactive because like in this scene he's like running away, Zilla, and then he turns around and roars at the ground and fire happens. I don't know if this is fire breath. I don't think I would call this fire breath. It's
I
definitely not
was
his atomic breath, which is what Godzilla is famous for. It's just a roar and then fire. Oh,
Yeah, I
and
didn't
then
even know what
it
to do with that.
fucking climbs a building and some choppers fire a missile at the Chrysler building. They're hitting everything except for this giant target. It is
Oh, my favorite is their
astronomical.
excuse for missing too is the heat-seeking missiles can't find it. You couldn't just fucking shoot straight ahead.
God. Like I
Like,
get it. It's cold blooded. Ha, I get it. But like a giant cold blooded lizard would still have a good amount of heat to like.
also a giant cold-blooded
It's
lizard
so
is still
huge.
giant.
Yeah, again, like you don't even need to use the heat seeking, man. You like fucking open your bay doors and eyeball it. You'll hit it. But
You
no.
fucking throw a rock in that direction, you're going to hit the goddamn creature.
And then like so we pan to some looters. They're busy looting, and one says, "I got a bad feeling," and then
In a
Godzilla
true
comes
New
through,
York thug depiction.
and then Zilla walks through and walks over them, and they're fine,
Yep, and they're good. And then there's a nice Star Wars-esque fly-through shoot 'em up scene where you're
shooting
in the cockpit.
shooting every bullet ever into everything
Into
that isn't
nothing.
Zilla.
Yes. Now you can see up close and personal that they've had the same training as a stormtrooper in Star Wars. Shoot around the target.
So they lose her. They lose Godzilla. I don't know how. A big
Oh,
fucking
this is
lizard. And then
this
they
is
find
also
it.
a scene. No. This is how they lose Godzilla. He goes through a building and cuts a hole in the middle again.
Yeah.
So there's a top, there's a bottom, and there's sides to this building, and then there's a hole in the middle.
So they're like, So they shoot a bunch of missiles into it and then say, "We got them." And then Godzilla smashes through the building behind them and destroys like most of the choppers.
Yeah, she just bitch slaps the helicopters
And
out of this
then
guy.
there's another more chase sequence, like this chopper's trying to get away, and then Godzilla does like a Jaws jump chomp on it. I
Yeah,
thought
which
that
is
was
good.
cute.
That was pretty nice, like that. Anytime Godzilla jumps in this film, I was pretty into it.
Yeah.
There's that, and then there's another scene later. And then the soon-to-be mayor is so upset about the buildings being ruined and not at all worried about the giant dinosaur fucking escaping.
Like the mayor's like pissed because like you guys caused more damage than the monster, but like
Yeah.
he's kind of fucking right. Like you guys hit
Yes.
literally everything. The moon
Yes.
has missiles on it now because you fucking hit it.
But my only issue with this, because I agree with you in that sentiment, but also, could you imagine a fucking building-sized lizard running around destroying shit and being like, damn, you fucked up the buildings? And not at all being concerned that there's a giant fucking lizard running around destroying shit.
I mean, you're right. And like, this is supposed to be like he's a piece of shit. And of course he's a piece of shit. But
he
like,
just
it
wants to be
sucks
mayor.
that he is kind of right too, where it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, Godzilla's destroying things. You guys did more damage than Godzilla. What the fuck?
Yeah, you fucking halved the Empire State Building.
Yeah, Godzilla jumps on a building and hugs it. And that's the end of this scene.
So then there's a scene where we're back to Nick and O'Neill on the ground.
Yeah.
And O'Neill says, all this, and we did nothing to him. And Nick goes, that's not true. We fed him. And that's one of the best exchanges in this entire film.
Yeah.
At least so far.
Yeah. And then we're at Audrey's now at the news press crowd press with her press pass press. She has
Old
the
guy
only
fishing old guy fish. Fish guy old.
She's the only one with a colorful umbrella so that her eyes are guided to it
Immediately
naturally.
drawn.
She sees Nick go into a pharmacy and then follows. This is a fun scene.
This scene is also confusing because like this store's just open.
Yeah.
This store just has a lady occupying it doing pharmaceutical things like a giant lizard because they're like right off of where Godzilla was just running around the fucking city and shit.
Yeah.
And Nick's just like, let me buy some pregnancy tests for this iguana.
Yeah, he goes in and he's like, "Do you have any pregnancy tests? Like, give me all of them." And it comes out to like $12.
God, inflation.
That's one pregnancy test now. I want to put a pin in the pregnancy test thing. Obviously, it's a clear plot point that has a clear destination, and
Yeah, we'll
get
circle
there.
back.
Nobody's stupid. Everybody's like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Okay.
No, Audrey's just pregnant with his baby 8 years
Because
later.
Audrey does come in and sees it, and then like basically goes, "Wow, you got a lot of bitches."
Yeah, I will say, as much as I don't like Audrey's character, she does have a couple fun one-liners that I kind of support.
Yeah, she says harem. Thank you, fact checker, but it doesn't make it more fun.
No, I like bitches. She comes in and says, "Are these for your lizard bitches?"
Yeah, this exchange sucks. He sees her stolen press pass and is like, "Wow, you became a real porter? I'm happy for you." And she asks if he's still mad, to which he says yes, because apparently she just ghosted him after the proposal.
Yeah, I didn't
bitch-
even know that he proposed. So all
Yeah,
I
'cause you
knew
missed-
that
yeah,
said
you
she
missed that
just
scene.
ghosted him, which makes this even worse because she immediately follows it by fucking like gaslighting him because she's like, "Well, Nick, people change."
It's because like, yeah, because you didn't catch the scene where like she said that he proposed, but
Yeah.
she says, "It's been 8 years. Some people change." And he says, "Oh, most people don't." And then she says, "I'm sorry you feel that way."
Yes.
Which is such cunt flag energy.
She just fucking gaslights him into being like, "Well, I'm different now, and how dare you not acknowledge that after I suddenly left you after you proposed without saying a word. It should be fine. Get over it."
This is the 90s. This isn't like now where it's like you just block them on Facebook. They disappear. You have no idea what happened to them.
Homegirl could live 2 blocks away and she doesn't exist to you anymore.
Yeah, like you don't know what happened. Like you're in a long-term relationship, potentially marriage on the rise, and then they just disappear. Were they human trafficked? You don't know. There's no fucking way of knowing.
Oh, fact checker just checked in with a new fact, and it says, quote, "She is in fact a mega bitch," end
Thanks.
quote. Yeah, true facts. And then he offers to make her tea.
Yeah, he's like, "You're right.
And-
8 years is a long time. Can I make you tea?" And then they go back and talk.
And this is the scene where he literally waves a beaker around for a while.
Yeah, they reveal that Nick used to be an anti-nuclear activist, and he's like, "You could change more on the inside than protesting." I don't know.
Yeah, and she's like, "How is this changing anything?" And he's like, "I'm studying how the effects of radiation testing affect animals, and
Blah,
they're going to
blah,
listen
blah."
to that because I've scienced."
So he squirts some pee or something from Zilla mixed with liquid
it's
to become
blood.
yellow. Yeah, I think you're right, because
Which
I'm
is,
like,
I don't know why it's yellow.
it's yellow, and I'm like, there's no way he got pee. There's no way he got pee.
He just stood under it for a while.
It's like fly fishing.
No, he like scoops up like fucking
Yeah, I
muscle
remember.
sludge. Yeah.
He dabs it on the pregnancy and immediately declares pregnant. That shit takes
Yeah.
like 20 minutes.
It takes a while to find out that your iguanodon lover is pregnant. It's not just immediate.
He's pregnant.
like-
I mean, obviously these tests aren't designed to test this. Why are you using it?
Can we talk about how, to me, if I can't tell if this movie is stupid or very inclusive for its time.
Yeah, I doubt it.
The second they do the pregnancy test, there's no flip-flop of like, "Oh, she's birthing," it's like she's nesting for eggs or anything. So maybe they're just real inclusive accidentally, where they're like, "Oh, he's pregnant."
Yeah, they continue to say he.
For the whole film. My favorite is, so the iguanodon's pregnant, and Audrey goes, "How?" And Nick says, "Asexually." And Audrey goes, "Well, that's no fun."
I'm stuck on the pregnancy tests, and what how do you go, "There's a giant lizard and I have guts. I should see if it's pregnant"? How do you get from one point to that?
Look,
It's
as a
O'Neill's
worm guy, he's just very intuitive.
But like,
He can just feel it out.
sure, but like, yeah, go get every pregnancy test. I got this stuff. I'm gonna test it. You don't have other science shit to like test with that? No, you're beelining for the over the counter pregnancy tests. But then he even says, obviously these tests aren't designed for this, and I don't know why is he doing this? Also, can you drop pregnant lizard pee on a pregnancy test?
Can you drop pregnant lizard blood on a human pregnancy test and be like,
Yeah,
it's gonna work?
I don't know the leaps
What
in
if
logic
it's a
here.
false positive? Yeah.
I guess you have another one.
Yeah, so Nick is like, oh my god, I must tell the world. And while Nick is gone, Audrey goes and snoops through his tent because she's a fucking psychopath.
There's a cork board with all those photos together, and I don't know why he has that. Does he take that with him? Like, why is it set up?
Yes, because it was with him in Chernobyl, and it's with him here, and it was with him in Panama. And so she discovers that Nick has never taken down this corkboard of photos and fucking travels with it, and she is pleased. But also, they're both fucking weird, because after 8 years, that's insanity.
Yes.
That's fucking wild. After like a year, that would be a little weird. Unless she died, then I'd be like, all right, fair enough. But fucking like 8 years later, and you're still carrying around a picture of the girl that fucking didn't even say no to your proposal. She just dipped on your life.
Backchecker said that he thought she was kidnapped, which I even made the point of, like, when you get ghosted in the 90s, you have no possible idea of what happened. Because that person, they're gone. They're dead.
Yeah. Maybe he thought she was dead. But he doesn't, like, he's not, like, shocked to see her.
So she sees a VHS labeled Top Secret and watches it. Has all the footage of the footprints and nothing really substantial to work with, but she takes it anyway because this is her big break.
And it says Top Secret, and she's a piece of shit.
Yes. There's another scene of 1,000 choppers blackening the skies because why not?
And then there's another scene of some guys exploring tunnels. And then they're like, nothing's here. And then one whole entrance to a tunnel is an eyeball.
Yeah.
And it roars, but somehow they don't turn around to hear the
It's a giant
roar.
lizard. It makes noises. It shuffles around. You hear that.
It was a giant lizard that not only like shifted, and you could probably hear it fucking slithering about, but it also makes like a rumbling roar sound, and somehow that didn't echo through all the fucking tunnels that they're standing 10 feet from it in.
Hold on, wait, did you hear that? No, I don't care enough, man.
I just farted. It was a well-timed fart.
I got shit to do.
Look, my shift ended 30 minutes ago. I don't give a fuck where this lizard is.
I don't care. I don't care if Eric's here to cover the rest of my shift or not. I'm done. I'm out.
I'm fucking gone.
So Audrey gets a reel made up super quick and delivers it to her new boss, her news boss, not new boss. The French are still spying. I don't know why they are, but they still are. We as an audience don't know why they are.
My favorite is that every time we visit the French guys spying in this hotel, we know absolutely nothing, and they speak in French the whole time with no subtitles of what they're saying, which I actually really liked about this movie, because every time they talk, I'm like, what the fuck are they saying?
Yeah, I kind of like that. It adds mystery to it of like, I'm lost, but you're supposed to be lost, I guess.
Yeah, the French fucking Secret Service shit is easily the best written part of this movie, because I was actually invested in what was going on, even with how little they were giving me every time. The mystery kept it alive.
So Nick reveals that the Zilla is about to lay eggs, but did so asexually. And then the mayor is all, what is this, the virgin lizard? And laughter fucking erupts. Nothing has ever been funnier in the world than this.
The virgin lizard.
Everybody laughs except Nick and also the audience watching this fucking movie.
Yeah, I like this line because it was so terrible.
It's dumb.
It made me want to make a shirt.
What is this? The Virgin Lizard?
Mary as a lizard? Yeah.
I mean, you go along with Raptor Jesus. That was a big thing
exactly.
on the internet. Audrey and Animal go to a bar to watch her first news report. Oh, it turns out the sleazy newsman took it and made his own news report and even calls it Godzilla and not Gojira, which is a big deal to her and also to some people, I guess. Military sees Nick on the report because she even says Nick Tabadopoulos, and
yeah, she fucks him so hard.
Yeah, fuck her. She's a bitch. But also, fucking, the government is just like, hey, you're fired. Fuck you, man. What are you doing? And he's like, I have
Yeah,
no idea what's happening.
my description of this scene is douche twat steals Audrey's story, douche twat being her boss.
Yes.
Nick realizes Audrey is a shithole, and now he's getting fired because she's a shithole, so thanks. And then,
God, this yeah. I was reading my next
like,
note.
bitch just fucking, like, ruins this guy's life 8 years ago, comes back and ruins his life a second time in one fell swoop.
But then, like, meets him out in the rain, and she's all like, are you leaving because of me? And then says, you never said any of that was off the record.
Wait, you missed a scene. You missed a scene. Between here and there is where the ham-fisted exposition with the redheaded doctor, who, if you guys recall, we talked about an hour ago when we first started this movie. There's a weird, overly dramatic, almost Victorian-esque feeling moment with him and the redheaded doctor where she comes into his tent all dramatic and is like, I'm so sorry, Nick. And they just stare at each other for a while with manufactured tension.
I don't even remember
And he
that.
says, it stood out to me so much because it was so weird. And he goes, you have to make sure they look for the eggs, and storms out.
Yes.
And that's when Audrey shows up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was waiting, like the way they built it up, I was waiting for him to kiss her. And it makes me think there's like a throwaway somewhere where they're like, all right, fuck it. Like, let's see if we want to take the film this way. Because the way it reads is like the fucking, like, you know, when you're watching like Pride and Prejudice and there's like the build up to the moment that they actually kiss. Like, this is what that felt like.
Tension.
I love, yes.
Yes.
But it's manufactured tension. Like, it's not real. It's just weird.
Yeah. So she says, you never said that it was off the record, even though the bit fucking tape said top secret. She's a bitch.
Yeah, she's an asshole.
Then she gives a sob story about not being a reporter, actually, and why this makes what she did, it was okay. No apology whatsoever until after he leaves, which she whispers. She never redeems herself in this movie, actually.
No, ever.
She's
ever.
She stays bad. And you've seen a movie, audience listener. You know how movies are. You know that by the end, it's going to be her and Nick, like, hand in hand, like, I love you. And that is what happens. Sorry, spoiler. That's what happens.
And she never stopped being a twat.
She never stopped being a twat. She never fucking earned it. Like, this is just... this is awful.
The part that I did like is Nick goes, good luck with your career, and leaves. After she's like, I never made it. And he's like, well, fuck you. Bye.
Which is all up... Yeah, I do it too. Fuck you, bitch.
Yeah, well, and I'm just really sad he went back on it because it should have ended with him just fucking flipping her off. And instead, he gets into a cab and gets kidnapped by a French cab driver who is
Philippe.
The fucking Philippe.
Animal sees this, by the way, and gets in his van to follow. That's an important-ish bit.
Yes, it is.
And...
Well, we find out that the French want to find the wee babies.
The wee babies.
Yes.
Oh, baguette.
The wee dinosaur babies.
Philippe takes Nick to his camp. There's a bunch of guns. Quote unquote, this is America. You can buy anything.
Yeah, it's how'd you get all this stuff into the country? This is America. You can buy anything. And then I put, he didn't say this, but it should have been included based off of the previous moments in the film, except good coffee, apparently.
This part is a part that stuck with me. Philippe reveals that France was testing nukes in the Pacific, and that's what created Zilla. Fucking how and why and what do you mean France was doing nuclear testings in the Pacific, the other side of the fucking world from it?
Yeah, I don't know. Because that's like, obviously this was the setup because they did the countdown in French at the beginning of the film. But this is such like a weird, like, oh, it was the French. We made the mistake and now we must cover it up because we made the Godzilla.
Because they got Jean Reno in and they're like, well, how do we make fucking... How do we
figure this out?
How do we get the French
How do we justify this?
But like, this is like a mutated marine iguana. There's none of those anywhere near France. Like, how are we going to do this? Well,
That makes any fucking sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense. How?
Yeah, just how.
France travels all the way to the Pacific to do nuclear testing and nobody knows about it? Fuck off. Shut up.
Yeah. How'd you get that over there? You didn't just boat it. Someone would have
So
known.
France caused Zilla to be born by radiation. Cool.
It's okay. They'll fix it.
So Nick decides to help them because he wants to find the nest, and he points to where he believes the nest is on a map. Animal witnesses all this through a window and then goes to a house party, which is
Yes, that his wife is throwing?
well, his unnamed at this point wife, Lucy,
Yeah, does she
invited
ever
Lucy. They say Lucy,
Okay.
and that's how I go, oh, and I wrote it down really quickly.
Oh.
Invited hundreds of refugees to stay at their house.
My favorite is that Lucy's like, you did this to her. She's crying because you told her that she
Ugh.
couldn't make it because she's soft. And Animal's like, wait, you said that. And she goes, no, you said that. You're a terrible person.
Yeah.
And Animal's like, okay, I guess I'll go fix it.
Yeah, Audrey's crying in her room because the bad thing she did that didn't benefit her. When I'm in this finding out stage of fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Why must I experience the consequences of my own actions? Nobody
Yes,
cares.
because fucking nothing. Well, yeah. And then my favorite part is that so she talks to Animal about being a terrible person, and then Animal suggests making it better by following Nick and taping the nest for not only her career but his career.
Yeah.
Because nothing says I'm sorry like stalking your ex-boyfriend
God.
and ruining his classified status with yet another government.
I want to point out here is that Animal's like, I know where they're going because I briefly saw Nick point at a map through a tiny window at a weird angle.
And I definitely heard all of it. I'm just that familiar with the New York map. My favorite is that the next scene is Nick and the Frenchman trying to sneak into where
God.
the nest might be. And it's, what's with the gum? Makes us look more American. Okay. And then the fucking Philippe, who is, I'm sorry, what's his name?
It's Philippe.
No, the like the actor.
Jean Reno.
Yeah, so Jean Reno then uses an Elvis accent to get through a checkpoint. Who the fuck knows? We're American. And fucking Ferris Bueller looks at him like, you fucking kidding me? And then they all go spelunking. It's real good.
There's a lot of just walking in this part. It's a very Lord of the Rings thing here.
Yeah, well, even fucking Zilla does walking because they think she's rampaging past, and really she's just ascending to go collect more fish.
Yeah,
and runs right past Audrey and Animal.
The military set up another pile of fish in Central Park. By the way, the radar this time, it doesn't have a picture of a fish. It just says fish.
Are you serious?
I was looking out for it. Yeah. Brittany pointed out. It just says fish.
Oh, that's incredible. I noted that she's pretty docile when not being shot. So there's just like a whole scene of she's being chill and they're like, fuck it, fire.
Yeah.
So they start shooting at her, and then there's a whole long action scene where she's getting shot at. So she starts swimming away and they start shooting her with submarines.
I don't know what the plan was here. Like they fucking they shat the bed only last time and destroyed everything around it. Did they bring double the guns? That's double the damage.
Yeah, I was honestly waiting for them to just try to nuke the fucking Godzilla in the Central Park or something.
Why don't you put bombs in the fish and have Godzilla eat them all and then detonate them?
I don't... that would require logic and thought process. That's clearly not what the U.S. military is made of.
It doesn't matter because Zilla looks at the pile and goes, nah, not like that, dog. And then, another chase scene. And Zilla majestically leaps into the sea and leaves the smallest splash that all the Olympic judges rate a 10.
Well, girl knows how to dive.
It's a beautiful dive, but like... No.
She said, I'm an aquatic iguana. How dare you?
And this scene sucked. I don't know if you put that in your notes, but it's in my notes. All the submarines see Zilla and are ready, so they fire torpedoes, but Zilla just, like, swims away from them. It's not even fucking close. She's like, oh, better just casually duck under this fish missile. It's stupid.
It's not even, there's not even an attempt at trying, really. And then the best part is that this scene ends with them hitting her with one of these missiles. And it would be this really touching scene of her getting obliterated and maybe dying if it wasn't immediately followed by like the weirdest, shittiest CGI scene of her float rolling through an also shitty, weird CGI cloud underwater.
Don't forget that she Green Goblin to fucking sub and have the torpedo hit it. Nick and the French keep going and walk past a fish in a basketball hoop still wriggling. That's cute. Animal Audrey is still following. They're not even being a little sneaky. They find the eggs. Nick's like, only 3 eggs? Gee, wow. But he walked past hundreds of eggs to look at these 3.
To get to that point.
Like,
yeah, what did you think they were? Vending machines full of Polaroids?
And then they zoom out. There's hundreds of eggs all around them. He had to walk through like 50 of them to even see these 3. And
I wrote, that's what we call a prolific breeder. That's my note for this scene.
Yeah, they attach one C4 to every egg, which seems like a good plan, but then they hatch. So, no.
It sucks to suck, dog. And then they went, for a minute, they went OG Jurassic Park for the babies and made them out of animatronics.
Yeah,
and then I
cool.
put, just kidding. They also did shitty CGI.
Yeah, they went right back to bad CG.
Yeah, very, very quickly.
The Mini-Zillas,
there was like a minute where they had a budget.
The Mini-Zillas are like interested in the group, and the Nick's like, oh, it's because they smell like fish. I think it's because you're made of fucking meat. You're just a meat popsicle.
Yeah, like what the fuck? They just want to eat you, and you are prey that is like the size of their head.
Yeah.
You're not that big compared to them.
They're not a pescatarians or pescatarian. I don't know. The thing.
Vegetarians?
No, the ones that eat fish and only fish. But anyway, they're like, let's fucking Delta. So they're running away. And now it's like the raptor scene from Jurassic Park, but like bad and low budget and awful.
And like 1,000.
Yeah.
And then my favorite is that, so at one point, Audrey and Animal are trapped by the baby dinosaurs. And then they go, fuck it. And they just like run through.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Animal almost gets his fucking nipple snatched off by one of them. And I put, my comment on this was, thank God babies are born blind, because otherwise the 2 of them would be dead. Because they just ran like through their mouths to get to a door. Fucking Philippe tells Nick how to request a U.S. military strike. And I was just like, damn, do we suck at espionage? But this French dude is like, here's how to order an American missile.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I do have one more point of, at some point between that scene and the next scene, Philippe's like, go escape, we'll hold them off.
Yeah.
He takes the elevator, and I'd ask you a question. How many times have you been in an elevator where the door just shuts and it doesn't auto reopen when anything goes through the fucking threshold?
Never, ever, ever.
I've been in 1 or 2.
And they're like old elevators, though.
The like statistical percentage of 1 or 2 compared to the mass quantity of elevators I've fucking been in really does not add up to how many movies rely on this mechanical difference for a successful escape, because he shoves a dinosaur's head back through closing elevator doors as if they wouldn't just pop right the fuck back open and he'd be dead.
Yeah, but
dumb.
Hand wavium is happening here. But yeah, he runs into the elevator and is like relieved for a moment, and the doors open on the next door to show more baby Zillas tearing apart everything and eating popcorn. This part, all practical animatronics, looks fucking amazing. I'm like, wow, this looks great.
Odd scene too.
And then the doors close, everything's CG again.
And we find a quiet floor.
So they Nick, Philippe, and Animal and Audrey all meet up. Actually, Animal and Audrey fall through the ceiling, haha. And then they're like, we need to get a message out. And Audrey says that she knows a way. Pack of Zillas start chasing them. They go to a broadcast booth, which has a code on it. The code doesn't work.
Yeah, because we're in Madison Square Garden, by the way, the home of the iguanodon
nobody
eggs.
Cares. Philippe blasts a hole through the door. They get in. Audrey says the network is on an intranet, which is a sentence, I guess. I can't even fucking bump my router, but sure. Apocalypse. Ed, the news editor, gets the message and then switches the channel so that people can see. Audrey and Animal are all put this on live because there's a billion angry lizards. And then they show and make their news report. And Nick is the special expert. Everyone sees that there's a billion fucking lizard babies. Sergeant O'Neill, the mayor, some random kids we've never met get zoomed in on. The news report is gentle and borderline sensual, though the content is regarding
What?
apocalyptic nuclear lizards. Like, no,
Where'd you get borderline sensual?
well, no, because like it's very like soft and like we're here at Madison Square Garden.
Oh,
There are
yeah,
some
she's very
lizards,
chill.
and she's like, "But I fucking hit Nick the entire time." Like, like
Well,
staring
because
intently
she's
at him.
trying to redeem herself by giving Nick credit for science.
Yeah, but
So she's
I
like,
don't
come here,
care.
come talk to me in front of the camera. It's fucking stupid.
But like it's very soft, and again we got like the violin like gentle music like da-na-na-na. There's lizards everywhere eating people.
Yes, you are going to die because either the lizards are going to eat you or they're going to nuke the fucking building while you're in it. Those are your
Yeah,
options.
and then we cut to the general, and he's like, "I want you to blow up the Madison Square Garden." That's right. And then Ed flashes a message: "You win. Army come. 6 minutes. Get out. Ride wife. Wife fight back. Kill wife."
What?
That's a
I
dumb
don't know.
joke. You've never seen that meme? It just popped into my head when I was reading it. It's we'll put it
I
on
thought
the.
I missed something. I was like, no way that it said that. I missed
I
some
forgot
shit.
that I wrote this here, and I think it's hilarious. It's a dumb gorilla meme. I'll show it to you later.
Uh,
But there's Baby Zilla's boring chase sequence, and they get out and they die. Like, what do you want?
yeah. My favorite is that they escape the Madison Square Garden right as the bomb hits it. They're like running out the doors,
Oh,
which seems
oh,
like you might still die from that radius.
but
Audrey, go for it.
I was gonna correct you. They show missiles being launched, but then they show Madison Square Garden exploding from something inside of it. No missiles hit it. It's awful to look at.
And the next scene is awfuler as Audrey continues to hit on Nick, and he pulls a face of like, really? But then kisses her anyway. I noted here, I don't think this relationship is gonna last.
No,
And then Philippe kisses Animal, which doesn't actually happen, but it feels like Philippe maybe
no,
wishes
but
Nick
they
kissed him.
they look at each other like they're questioning if they're supposed to kiss, and like
Yes,
that happens. Like,
exactly.
well,
And Philippe awkwardly is like, I need to go get coffee, goodbye. Like he breaks their sexual tension.
yes.
And
All of a
then
sudden,
Big Bertha yeets herself out of the ground to mourn her dead babies.
it's
And
real
then
sad
starts
too.
and then starts trying to eat them. And by them I did not mean the babies.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
meant Nick and friends.
Nick and friends.
Yeah. Then they try to escape in a cab because that's the French guy's hobby job. And as in all New York films similar to the mayor scene, they must fight over which directions to get to what part of the
God,
city.
I know, right?
So fucking
Well,
dumb.
let's take this bridge. What do you mean? Like, shut up. We get it. It's New
Yeah.
York. Hilarious. They turn
Mhm.
down a road and spot Sergeant O'Neill, and then Nick takes the serial plate, like the cab
That's what
driver's
I'm
metal ID
guessing.
thing. It's not a license plate, but he throws that at
No.
O'Neill.
Yeah, and when he does it, I'm like, there's no way in a real situation this man would even hear or see that come out of the car. Because it would have been so fucking loud
Yeah.
as Godzilla ran by.
Yeah, fact checker says cab ID, but we don't actually know that until later when O'Neill's like, "Oh, the cab ID, that was smart."
Yeah, but also, like,
irrelevant.
is a cab ID a giant metal fucking thing in a car?
I
in the
don't know.
90s?
I've never actually seen one. So I was like,
Yeah.
at first I'm like, why does he have the license plate? And then it has like an ID and shit. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, and then they walk us through it later.
So O'Neill informs the general that Zilla's still alive. There's another scene where Zilla roars and fire happens. Is this fire breath or just cars exploding?
I literally missed every scene that you have discussed where Godzilla roars and
Because
fire happens.
like I watched this at like 0.5 speed to take it all in, but it's honestly just a giant chase forgettable bullshit thing.
Yeah.
They get the car into a tunnel where Zilla gets his head stuck. O'Neill figures out how to page the cab and tells them to lead Zilla out into the open so that they can kill it. So they use the high beams, which blinds Godzilla, I guess. They're not high beams though. They're just fucking it's stupid. They pop out.
Yeah.
They are driving. They lead Zilla to the Brooklyn Bridge. And then they notice he's not following us. And then he pops his head through the road in front of them and grabs their car in his mouth and munches down. Nick sees a live wire dangling near a tooth, so he grabs it, jams it straight into the root of a tooth, and like drops them. They continue driving. It's now sprinting at them across the bridge. It's all animatronics at this point. It's really cool. But then it goes back to CG where it's sprinting at them across the bridge. It gets stuck.
It does a cool. Sorry, I was gonna say it does a cool vault onto the top of a brick structure. This is the second time it jumps.
Yeah. It does like a jump over one, but then like goes through the second arch and gets stuck. And then the suspension kind of acts like this large net. And then jet fighters come in and fire lots of missiles into Zilla. And then like Zilla crumbles. Zilla's crying.
There's a weird touching moment.
Yeah, Zilla's crying as it gets shot, collapses, and the music is all sad and like 'twas beauty killed the beast. You can hear its heartbeat slow and eventually stop as the light fades from its eyes. This shit's so dark. I don't know what tone they were going for in this movie.
It's hard to tell.
And then there's victory music,
like,
and I don't know, like...
Yeah. They paint this as such a... Like, clearly it's supposed to be we gotta kill this giant creature before it kills us, but then they also, like, make it this weird touching thing of, this creature has died after all it was trying to do was protect its babies, and we kept shooting her, and now we watched her giant eye close, and her babies are fucking dead.
Yeah, and it's so fucking rainy right here.
It's a long scene.
It is.
It's a long scene.
Again, sad music.
It's like a whole minute of Nick staring into this creature's eyes as life goes out of it. And then it's immediate celebration.
Yeah. Everybody's celebrating. The mayor's all like, I'm the mayor who killed Godzilla. And his ass kisser assistant or whatever is like, you know what? Not today. And like quits because everyone has a win in this, I guess. Everybody's getting beer, steak, and BJ's.
And then O'Neill gets his beer, steak, and BJ's because his boss said he does a good job, which is clearly the first time he's ever heard that in his entire life because he looks like he's going to cry. And Nick and Audrey are, of course, arm in arm. Audrey tells her boss to fuck off and quits.
Yeah.
Philippe steals the tape of their events.
Yeah, Animal opens up the recorder and sees that the tape is missing, and they're like, what happened? Philippe calls Nick from a payphone and says he has to remove the French stuff and then so that he could send it back. What French stuff? Like, what does he need to remove?
I think just their presence, but it's like you said, it's a fucking Sasquatch film. Animal's not very good at his job, so you probably just leave it in.
But then he's like, hangs up, and then he's seen walking sadly away in the rain, which meets the minimum requirements to label this an artful French film. And then
Nick gets forgiven for treason.
And then we see, back in Madison Square Garden, there's a single egg that survived, and we see it begin to hatch. You think that this is a tease for a sequel, but it actually leads into the animated series about the baby on Fox Animated.
Thank God, because if there was another one of these movies...
Cue credits. Puff Daddy did a song with Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page that uses Godzilla roars as sensors, and the melody to Kashmir, that starts to play. You know, Puff Daddy, also known as P. Diddy, Sean Combs, that guy we all saw kicking the shit out of that one woman, and is also involved with human trafficking, maybe, and he's also probably behind the murder of Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. That guy. Other than that, all the songs on this soundtrack are fucking bangers, by the way. Like, if you get the Godzilla soundtrack, fucking incredible.
Go, download the Godzilla soundtrack.
Which leads into my recommendation. I'm recommending, off of this album, the Godzilla soundtrack, Jamiroquai. Just kidding, it's Jamiroquai, everybody knows. Jamiroquai's Deeper Underground featured on the soundtrack. Jamiroquai, who's clearly an alien who uses funk as magic, is fantastic. I don't know that you've never heard of this person before. He's known for Virtual Insanity. That's the video where he has the big fuzzy hat moving around the room. He also does Canned Heat. That's the song from Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite danced to the song, Defined a Generation, except for me. My personal favorite song is Cosmic Girl, but I'm recommending Deeper Underground here. It's a weak song, but it's on theme, so fuck it, fuck you. I don't care.
Deeper Underground.
By Jamiroquai.
My song suggestion for the week. Do you ever watch Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends?
Yes.
Do you remember Cheese?
Yes.
This song is called Cheese, and the integration of the lines from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends are terrible. But it's called Cheese by Moon Gang, Kuxalakari, Kxllakari, all one word, and Who is Suzuki? And it's a fun little song, and it has lines from Cheese from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Man, you're such the person that would like cheese, and that explains so
I
much about our
thought
friendship.
Cheese was so obnoxiously funny as a
Oh
kid.
no, I just thought it was obnoxious. Like, ugh, I'm over it. I like chocolate
No, me
milk.
and my
Okay,
sister, not that. No, 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 not that part. The part that gets me is when he has the tiny, like rocking horse unicorn, and is going like 3 minutes before he gets to the top and goes, and that's it. That was the part that I liked. I didn't give a shit about the chocolate milk scene. All of it was all of it was annoying.
I like you went for this and not for like any song that's on theme. There's that. What's that
No,
one?
not at all.
That one song with
Not
the
Go 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 Godzilla that I've referenced 30
"There Goes
times.
Godzilla."
Yeah. Uh Thank you guys so much for enduring this film. I feel like it has only stolen more years off of my life by talking about it again, and I'm looking forward to never thinking about it
I'm about to
ever.
drink alcohol and it's going to exit my brain forever, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, fuck. If you like the music we suggested because you sure as shit didn't enjoy hearing about the movie, or if you just want to write us hate mail about Taylor Swift, please like, subscribe, and download on whatever your most favorite is podcasting places. If you want us to talk about a thing, you can email us at whtpah@gmail.com. That's woodpa@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at We Have That Podcast at Home, or you can follow us on Woodpa, WHTPAH, on Blue Sky, which is like new Twitter not owned by a sad walrus. And next week, we will be talking about the illustrious and fine art of Rachel Never Remembers to Open a Fucking Wheel
Fun
on Time.
gag.
So please hold. It's not a
Fun,
gag, it's
fun,
just my
fun
life.
gag.
It's not even on purpose.
You
It
had
just
the fucking
happens.
the script like open 20 minutes before the podcast started. Because I
Yes,
saw
and
that
I
you were
always
on.
forget to open the motherfucking wheel. It's slice of life. And did we rename that something else? Comedy. It's comedy. Wait, no.
Comedy. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. We
Comedy includes that
merged them.
now.
Yeah. Yes. All right, everybody. I can't ever look at an iguana again. And I've been Rachel.
And I've been Off Brand Gamage, and this has been We Have That Podcast at Home. Thank you.